Good morning.
Sort of.
It's 5 a.m. It's not really, it's like 8. Feels like 5 a.m.
Looks like 5 a.m. The
It's windy, it's raining.
depths of the end times have descended upon us.
We should still be in bed.
We believe the zombie apocalypse is nigh.
But we're going cruising!
Yeah. Good fun. And back there, George is pooping, but he's not on camera, so that's good.
Because it's too dark.
There he is. Oh, good. You just had to give him a show. Yeah, so it's early morning, but we've got a long way to go to get to the bottom end of Netherton Tunnel.
It's forecast rain. If it gets much worse than this, then we're stopping.
Yeah, and it's supposed to get much worse than this around about 1 o'clock, so we need to get there before that, if possible.
Hence the early start. So yeah, back down the Sappheiros locks. We're on the upper bit now. There's another bit below us, parallel to us. We're going on that bit because we haven't been on that bit yet.
To translate, we're on the Birmingham Old Line. We'll be going on to the Birmingham New Line.
And then we're turning down
Birmingham New Line.
to the Netherton Tunnel.
The Netherton Tunnel.
And then down to Horn Basin.
Yes.
But we might not get that far today.
Probably not.
Alright, let's go. So we've got to the Sappheiros locks. The top pound, or the pound between the second and third lock, was empty again, so we've just filled that. And Michael's just pulling in there. And I'm just going to walk across the engine branch, which is there, and it goes over across the new line. So I'm just going to take a quick look down there while Michael's coming down this lock. So we're just about to go under the Stewart Aqueduct, which is going under the Birmingham Old Main Line, which is going under a railway bridge, which is going under the M5. filming went to pot at the end of it.
We did everything we said we were going to do.
We didn't know if we'd make it to Horn Basin. We made it to Horn Basin. We went down the locks, the Smethwick locks that we came up 3 days ago, and the pound that was empty then was empty again today.
Yeah, so that needed a little bit of refilling before we went through.
That's fine, and then I had a wander down the engine arm.
It's supposed to have turned into sort of a little bit of a unofficial nature reserve, people say, down at the end.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah. So there used to be like a big pumping engine, and it got moved. It got dismantled and moved. And so basically all there is really is sort of the old wharf at this point. But
we'd make some lovely moorings up there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, if they sort of cleaned up some of the industrial stuff.
Yeah.
Down onto the Birmingham New line.
And we'd been going about an hour, and we just passed below the museum that we were moored outside.
Yeah. Yeah, there was all the bridges and everything that Telford built. It was a very sort of thoroughfare-ish feeling.
Yeah, it's very straight.
It's very straight, and it's very, very
big high bridges.
Yeah, and really deep down cut, and basically it just sort of does feel like somebody tried to make the canal version of a superhighway. And then you come through to the area where the M5 passes. There's the aqueduct that you can see.
Oh yeah. So at one stage we were going under the canal we went over yesterday, which was going under a railway bridge, which was going under the M5. So there's like 4.
So we're at the bottom looking up at a stack of canal, railway bridge, and
massive
road. So yeah, it was
really interesting.
And then up and through basically the same place we'd gone
we
a
met
couple
up
of days before, so there's a lot of deja vu. And then we got to the Netherton Tunnel junction, turned down, and spent a very large amount of time in the dark.
As tunnels go, though, it was fine. It was dead straight, which is what you want in a tunnel, I think.
Yeah. It was actually the second tunnel of the day, because there was the short little tunnel.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Then we got to Netherton, we came down Netherton, and we turned into Windmill End Junction. This little section's kind of cool, because there's these little silhouettes everywhere, these metal silhouettes that sort of have a little blurb written on them about some historical point or feature.
So hopefully when we go back, it won't be raining and I can actually walk this section.
Yeah.
Because it was quite nice.
Because there was one that was saying that, this is where the tollman worked. This little hovel was the tollman's house, where he'd come out and he would use the gauging stick to determine whether or not you got a higher or lesser charge for your transit through. And then there was another one that talked about a woman who was widowed, and even after being widowed and raising 5 children as a single woman back in the 1800s, kept her husband's business going and actually turned it into a growing concern that lasted for 40 years and it employed like 400 people. And then there was one that was, oddly enough, 2 elephants, and it said that at some point there had been a circus in town and 2 elephants had been found frolicking in the canal. And
you imagine if you're coming along.
Yeah, you're just coming along and you're just like, what the... That's... Yeah. So
you were cold, wet, and miserable, but at least you had some like entertaining stories.
Yeah, cold, wet, and miserable, but entertained. And it was a bit of a curvy canal and lots of little bridges, some of them quite tight. There kept being this sign that said Gosty Hill, 1.5 miles. Gosty Hill, 1 mile. Gosty Hill, half a mile. And I'm like,
that's the tunnel.
I don't really know. Is Gosty Hill the tunnel or is Gosty Hill a hill? I mean,
Yeah, it's a hill that we're going through.
Yeah, and then you stood up at the front and yelled something completely unintelligible.
I was like, the tunnel's in 3 bridges. And I turned around and I'm like, oh, there's the tunnel. What am I telling you for?
Yeah.
I was trying to be honest.
And I'm like, I see 2 bridges and a black hole. So that was by far the most metal tunnel we've done.
Metal?
Like heavy metal. It's just a term.
Never heard that expression.
It's like goth, barbarian, sort of, I don't know.
We weren't, put it this way, we were not prepared for what this tunnel was going to be like.
No, because it's like super narrow, just wider than the boat.
Well, someone had tweeted us this morning and said, "Watch your head in Gosty Tunnel." They didn't know we were going today. I didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it on the map, I was like, "Watch your head in the tunnel."
So we come around the corner and we see this thing, and I've got this real sense of like, well, we're definitely going into a channel. And then as we move in and I turn on the light, it's as I flick on the light, that's when it illuminates the white painted arch on the inside that is actually the short part.
Yeah, so there was like 50 metres or so.
Yeah.
That was small, but you could stand up.
Yeah, and so like we're going in and I don't have the light on. So I'm looking at the portion going, oh, I've got headroom. I'm going in, I can stand up straight, no problem. I flick on the light and then there's this glowing white arch that's like super short. That's only a few inches above where our coal is. And above it is like a picture or a painting of some sort of vampire. It says like so many, like 1 mile ahead, Haw Basin or something like that. But there's this guy just like, these like vampire teeth. And I'm just like, I really think we're descending into hell. The boat starts disappearing into the White Arch. And
Oh, you can't see in front. At least I could see in front of me.
yeah, I've got no idea what you can see. I just watch the front of the boat disappear under it. I see some of our coal, one of the bags of coal, smack into the brickwork. And just one piece of coal like shifts out of the way. And that's it. I thought bags are going to go off the side. I don't know what's going to happen. It said 6'5" of headroom, but that was only readable on the far side after you came out of the thing.
So
the one on this side, somebody painted over it, so I couldn't see how.
Were you crouched down the whole way?
Yeah, basically I'm at like 45 degrees, as soon as once we got through the really short section with the vampire, and then there was another shorter section, but it wasn't quite as curved. Once we got through that, and I had to use the bow thruster to keep the coal from hitting the roof. Once we got through that, all of a sudden it opens up and it's tall again.
But yes.
I was looking for a vampire the entire time. I didn't see one.
Well, I tell you what, George has some sixth sense because he was freaking out the whole way through. In the other tunnel, or in tunnels generally, he's usually fine. But in this one, he was just cowering in a little ball. He wouldn't come inside. He was shaking. And then eventually, just as we were about through, I came inside and sat on the step and had the door open, and he came up and he was like, I'm coming in now.
I don't like this.
And he came in and he went and ran under the bed.
The tunnel was so narrow and so shallow that I basically had to be at just over tick over.
Yeah.
And the entire time. So
it took ages.
Yeah, so I'm just watching the wall kind of crawl past, and then we came out the far end, and the front of the boat came out, and the back got stuck. So I had to turn the engine off, like I had to pull back into neutral so I could try and push against the wall because something had gotten jammed down below. So there was this brief moment of just okay, well, she's out.
Yeah, we've made it. No, we haven't.
Me and George are out, but I'm stuck in the tunnel.
So what you were thinking about making her off?
Yeah. When I flicked on the light and realized that we might actually get jammed here. Like, I don't know how tall it is because somebody painted over the sign. And then I could just barely see air over the top of some of the coal. And I'm like, oh God, what happens if we get stuck? Okay, how would I make a raft and send Joe in one direction on the raft to get help? Like how would we deal with this? Or like a note or something. I'm like, do we float it on the orange ring, like put a little piece of wood and like make a little sail and just push it out that way and be like, help us! I don't know how.
It is by far the most unique claustrophobic tunnel we've ever been in. And it made me think, thank God we couldn't get in the Dudley Tunnel because that would have been worse. Although at least we'd have been with someone.
Yeah, and I would have been fascinated by the Dudley Tunnel. Yeah. This one was so weirdly sewer-like in its sort of diameter.
Yeah, it was,
that it just felt like incredibly claustrophobic. But it was also, kind of interesting. Like where the Dudley Tunnel has the coal mine chambers and everything. Yeah, there's so much more of interest.
Yeah, this is just one.
This was just one straight tube with varying diameters. So we dropped Joe and George off so they could walk a little ways. Came down to Haw Basin itself.
Because we had been told by a guy in Birmingham that it's a really good place to get diesel and coal and stuff. Not that we need coal now, but
we could use the diesel. In fact, we didn't fill up completely in Birmingham
because we wanted to come here.
Oh, we'd get here and get some nice, inexpensive diesel. And then we got down here. It just says end of navigation, and you have to do a 90-degree turn into this arch. And the way I was coming in, I could not go in front first into the arch, so I tried to turn into the turning point and then back through the arch. And as I started to back up, the wind caught me. And basically, I came into the arch of the bridge and then got twisted against it, so the boat just got stuck. And so I used the bow thruster and got me loose again. And you were running back to try and...
Yeah, because I was on the wrong bloody side.
Yeah, she was on the wrong side because the towpath sort of disappeared. So we moved forward from Haw Basin probably about a couple hundred meters. And we've just moored up for the night because the rain's kicked in.
Yeah, we had enough.
The wind's kicked in. If the wind dies down and it's nice and flat, we'll go back tomorrow and try and get the diesel, but we'll see whether or not that happens.
Yeah, considering the weather, like usually when the weather's like this, we get a bit grumpy and cold, but we're doing all right today.
So thanks for watching. Click the bell if you want to get notifications. Subscribe if you'd like to. Comment if you feel like it, and, thumbs up. Good? Okay.
Yeah, although I don't think there's any point Ring the bell unless you subscribe. No,
Windmill End.
Hang on, before that.
Before what?
Remember we left a...
I don't care about any of the beginning.
There's interesting things to say.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's there interesting to say about it?
And then...
Down on to the...
Old line.
New line. We were on the old line. So thanks for watching. Like, for comment, like, for
comments.
Thanks for watching. Click the bell if you want to subscribe. Nope, that's not what the bell is for.
Seriously, Michael, I can't do it. I just want to...
Okay, be quiet. Be quiet.